All right, let's start out with some Hunter Biden news, shall we? Russell Dobular,
Here we
take it
go.
away. You found an article that is an interesting take because I gotta say, I'm kind of starved for interesting takes on this. Like, as much as I can't stand the libs, I do
I got.
sympathize with
Go
the
ahead.
idea that this is kind of boring. Like, we know Hunter Biden is a ne'er do well. We know he's getting a sweetheart deal because he's the president's son. It's hard to find something really interesting to say about this. But Russell, you said you found something, so let's see what you got.
All right, Keaton. Well, this is why you didn't make it as a screenwriter in Hollywood, man. If you can't find interest in a son of a president who's hung like a fucking French bread, smoking crack and drinking vodka in Ukraine, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
We've
You're
seen it
never
already.
getting
We
paid
know
the
it. We
big
know it
bucks.
all.
All right. So, well, I mean, that's the job of an artist to find the hidden subtext, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I
See what
found
you
an
got.
article that I thought had some pretty good hidden subtext that's pretty sympathetic to this fucking drunken crackhead. Um, Many have noted this article, by the way, is Jonathan Turley. Many have noted that Hunter Biden was an implausible business associate or board member to be working with various foreign companies. He had lived a life that was a toxic mix of nepotism and narcotics, by his own admission. According to his 2021 memoir, during the period when foreign companies were clamoring to give him millions of dollars, see, this part's going to get me. He was drinking a quart of vodka a day and smoking crack around the clock.
Oh my God.
He kept up that self-destructive lifestyle, he said, until his father's 2020 presidential campaign began. My dad's running for president. I gotta cut down on the crack. When Hunter's world began to collapse financially, his uncle James, who has been implicated in influence peddling in news reports by House investigators, rushed to assure him that he and his father were arranging a quote safe harbor for him, according to one media report. The alarm over Hunter cutting off contact was understandable as a family matter in dealing with a relative with a history of drug addiction. Yet Hunter also potentially represented something of a threat to a family that has long been accused of influence peddling. Now that this is where this take gets kind of interesting. Like this, the take of this article is very much that he doesn't quite say this, but it's almost implied that part of the reason Hunter might be a crackhead is that he's kind of like the eldest son in succession. He's kind of the fall guy that all this shit got put on top of, and it's just completely fucked him up. Hunter has relied on his family and his father's political associates to protect him. He reportedly paid his delinquent taxes with the help of a wealthy friend. Other unnamed individuals paid huge sums for his artwork. You're saying those weren't just art collectors? Really? People weren't just into his interpretation of Monet. When Hunter's gun disappeared near a school and local authorities were investigating, the Secret Service mysteriously showed up at a gun shop and asked for the paperwork tying him to the gun. So then there's a little bit at the laptop. Let me get to the wrap up. At every juncture, the wayward son of Joe Biden seems to be snatched from the jaws of disaster. Now at the center of a swirling scandal of alleged influence peddling, Hunter has emerged with a plea that brings a new meaning to the word bargain. Um, he will plead guilty to 2 minor misdemeanor tax counts and a phantom felony count that will go away in time. Yet this may be the most vital role that Hunter has played for his family. He will declare himself guilty so the media and the political establishment can declare the scandal to be a closed matter. Nothing more to see here other than a plea to a couple misdemeanors. This is why betting against the Bidens in a corruption scandal is like betting for the Generals against the Harlem Globetrotters. The plea agreement already is being heralded by the Biden team as the final resolution of any Hunter Biden investigation. The hope is that Hunter takes the hit for the family. He will avoid jail time and his father can avoid a political scandal. In his memoir, Promises to Keep, Joe Biden wrote about how he once asked Hunter, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Hunter responded, "I want to be important." Um, I'll skip through a little bit of this to the end. The plea deal also avoids the charge that the White House most feared, a violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. despite the striking similarities with past FARA cases like that of Paul Manafort, there is no allegation that Hunter was an illegal foreign agent. If this is the final resolution as claimed by Hunter's counsel, it also is the ideal resolution for the Biden family. So I thought that was an interesting take that I didn't really see anyplace else, that Hunter is kind of a tragic figure and that this deeply corrupt crime family that is the Biden family, maybe part of the reason he's a crackhead is because they've been using him as a financial engine and a fall guy for his whole life.
If you don't mind, if I can interject here, in regards,
that's what you're here for, brother.
Yeah, no, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, just want you to sit there and look pretty.
Now, with Hunter Biden, he's had some big shoes to fill in. He is he's the second eldest child in succession, because I'm already starting season 4 for that series, and he is the one who's dealing with a lot of substance abuse. However, if we look at the Biden family as a whole, and that entire institution,
no, it's the eldest child.
No, he's not. No, he's not. In succession, he's the second eldest, and Hunter Biden is the second eldest too, because Beau Biden is older than him. Beau Biden came before Hunter, and
but the eldest son is what's his name?
Connor from.
Right, I meant
Connor's
the eldest.
Hold on, don't make me reenact the scene from season 3.
Right.
I am the eldest.
Am the eldest. Russell owned.
Come get your fucking shine box.
Owned on his own show.
No, you know why? Because the guy who played Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off played that character, and he's kind of like off on his own in a weird way. Like the show focuses more on the 3.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a separate supporting character, so that's why I didn't.
Yeah, so no spoilers. I just started season 4, episode 1, so I'm not going to spoil anything, and don't spoil anything for me. But in regards to the Biden family, Beau Biden was the overall guy that was probably going to be a more competent version of Biden who can run the entire institution. But there's one thing that always sticks out to me, and maybe I'm overthinking this, and maybe you guys can, I don't know, add in your 2 cents. But there's obviously Biden and his other brother who was notoriously corrupt, and then there's Hunter Biden, who was a loose cannon. Beau Biden was the guy who was the glue that kept it all together and protected his father and his legacy. And this is not an excuse for Biden or trying to shine him in a good light. But as soon as Beau Biden was about to pass away, his final words to his father, and Biden can even be, there's a video out there of Biden saying his son's last words to him, and that is, "Are you going to be okay, Dad? Are you going to be okay?" Because Beau, in many ways, probably saw just how much of a screw up his uncle was, and how much his brother was a screw up, Hunter, because those two would use Biden's name and his political connections for their own benefits. And as soon as Beau Biden was gone, it can be argued that that's when all of a sudden now you have Hunter Biden running, shooting from the hip, doing whatever he wants. I mean, hell, even having a marital affair with Beau Biden's wife
and her sister.
Yes, exactly. But nonetheless, this entire crime family of the Bidens, it's nothing new. We've seen this from the Democratic establishment and Republican establishment before. These dynastic political families committing unchecked corruption. So Hunter Biden's going to get away with it. And this should be a reminder to the American people, no matter what, no matter where you stand on the political spectrum, if you vote Democrat or Republican, both parties are going to make sure that their families are going to be okay and that they will be above the law. There will be no justice. There will be no accountability. However, if I was Donald Trump, and should Donald Trump succeed in this indictment trial, this gives him plenty of political ammunition to use against the Bidens and the Democrats. Because, again, if Trump is stupid and runs his campaign like he did in 2020 and not like how he did in 2016, then he deserves to lose. He should not be playing nice. And this is not an endorsement of Trump, but all this is tailor-made for if you want to delegitimize the Biden administration. This is something you want to use right now. And the media will do its job in trying to cover it up, like you two have said earlier. Mm-hmm. But it's right there out there in the open for anyone to use. And if you want to end the Biden-Harris administration, Hunter Biden delivered this package right there. And you could shine it to the world and say, hey, the Democrats are protecting a known criminal, And they've been doing this for a very long time. And the Biden administration approves of this because he is the president's son, after all.
Well, when I was prepping for the show, I didn't get to watch the video, but the headline in the video, it was some kind of congressional hearing. The headline said that the FBI agent admitted that they had a document claiming that Hunter Biden took a $5 million bribe. So I've got to look into that more. I mean, in regards to the media covering things up, look, we're news junkies in this space. And I keep an eye on the right-wing media because as anyone who's paying attention knows, we have a siloed media, as Taibbi always talks about. So to see an investigation of Democrats, you have to look at right-wing media because you won't find it anywhere else. Even within independent media, I think because we're not inclined to look at those sources, very often things even get missed in our space. So I didn't see that until right before we went on. I didn't even have time to look at it. But I mean, if that's true, yeah, we were on generational change last night. And the question came up, well, is this going to put an end to it? And my take was, of course not.
Well, because it's not Biden's call, right? As long as the Republicans have the power of investigation, it's not his call when it ends.
That's
it's up to the Republicans how far they want to take it, because the rule in Washington is, don't cross the line where you start investigating people for things that you can be investigated for yourself, right? That's the sort of gentleman's agreement. Now, if Trump can overcome these legal hurdles and become the nominee, I think, Kit, you're correct. I don't think he will play by those rules. I think it's all bets are off. It's going to be scorched earth. And we'll have to see how that goes.
He'll have to, because look, in 2020, for some reason, I'm still confounded by it. Again, even before Biden even sent to the presidency, there's so much video and information out there about the hypocrisy of Biden that Trump never capitalized on. It almost was like his entire campaign was held back. And again, maybe this has to deal with the people he surrounded himself with, the yes men. But see, again, that's Trump's own fault, because he surrounded himself with people of the Bush-Cheney administration who are neoliberals too. And so maybe he was playing it safe, but it was look, hey, to quote Trump, your 2020 campaign wasn't good. Not good at all.
Well, it wasn't good, but it was also severely limited by the times. I mean, that was more or less a single issue election on the margins. That's not to say that the pandemic was the number one issue on everybody's minds, but that's definitely what decided it on the margins, which is where elections are won and lost. And this time, the situation is going to be different. And so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Please clap.